These 6 books literally changed the way how I see myself, other people, and the world. If you've ever asked yourself, why am I like this? Or why do people hurt each other? Or if you're into psychology, personal growth, or you just finally want to understand why you do what you do, this list is for you. You can go to therapy, meditate, journal, or you can just start with a book. These 6 nonfiction reads helped me make sense around my thoughts, my emotions, and even the people around me. I'm not going to give you any spoilers here, I'm just going to do a quick overview and say who is this book for in my opinion. If you are new to my channel, my name is Anastasia and I make videos about languages, motivation, self-growth, so if you're into this, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this. And let's get right into this. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. Let that sink in. This is the kind of sentence that punches you in the gut in a good way, and this book is here not to flatter your ego, it's here to wake you up. The Mountain Is You is the book about self-sabotage, but more importantly, it's about why we do it and how to break the cycle. It dives deep into emotional wounds, fear of change, limiting beliefs, and the uncomfortable truth that sometimes the biggest thing that is standing in our way is us. And it may sound harsh to some, but actually Brianna Wiest doesn't write it harshly. She has huge emotional intelligence and the book is so kind and guiding, let's say. Actually, if you open my book, this is my book, the whole book is marked with quotes. I don't know if you can see, but there are a lot of quotes that I really liked from this book, and I come back to them from time to time because these are just such good reminders, and I think it's useful to come back to them from time to time. So who is this book for? I'd say if you're tired of repeating the same patterns, if you feel like you're stuck or you know what you want but you can't move forward, or if you're just on a self-growth or healing journey, this book is really for you. It might feel like a mirror and like a gentle push at the same time, and I'd say that as you start reading it, what happened to me and some of the people I know who read it, it seems so obvious. Everything is like obvious. I mean, nothing new, nothing to learn. But as you continue, you'll kind of see how deep and how thoughtful the author is, and you'll really feel it. I really highly recommend it. And now let's move to the next book. Trauma is not what happens to you, but what happens inside you as a result of what happened to you. I think this shifts everything we know about trauma and healing. The Body Keeps the Score. I think this is a groundbreaking book that reveals how trauma doesn't just affect our brains, it's stored deep in our bodies. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk explains how traumatic experiences shape our brain, our emotions, and even our physical health. And it also suggests lots of ways towards your healing journey through meditation, through mindfulness, movement, and more. Honestly, this can be a harsh read, especially if you're a highly empathetic person. It was hard for me to read sometimes, especially in those moments when they were describing the traumatic experiences of the people or the patients when they were kids. Sometimes I just had to close the book and stop for a moment because I just couldn't read it anymore. But it's also very powerful. So who is this book for? I'd say if you or someone you love experienced trauma, whether big or small, this is a definitely book you want to read. Or maybe you want to understand why emotional pain can sometimes feel like physical pain. Or if you're into psychology, neuroscience, or healing in a deep way, you'll love this book. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Each moment is a choice. That line really stuck with me. It's simple but so incredibly true. The Choice by Edith Eger. Unfortunately, I do not have a physical book because I was reading it on my iPhone, but still, I highly recommend you read it, and I'll tell you why. This book is part memoir and part guide to healing, written by Edith Eger, who is a Holocaust survivor who became a psychologist. Her story is really heartbreaking, and talking about this, I get goosebumps right now because I know I just felt it so deep when I read it, but it's also full of hope and strength, and it's all about how even when the worst things happen, we still have this power to choose how we live and how we heal. I also think that this book found me when I most needed it. I was reading it on my way from Ukraine when I was fleeing Ukraine basically because the war started, and this book really made a huge impression on me. I'm really grateful that I found this book because it really helped me at that time and it made me stronger. It gave me some hope and strength and kind of made me feel more optimistic and more powerful. So if you want to feel more connected to your strength as well, or if you want to understand how mindset shapes our ability to move forward, I really recommend you read this book. I recommend this book to everybody. I would say this is my favorite book, or one of my favorite books, definitely. And I also want to read another quote to you that I really like. As I said, I do not have a physical book, but as I was reading it, I was writing down some quotes to my sketchbook, notebook, and I make some notes here because I didn't want to forget those. I really like them. The biggest prison is in your own mind, and in your pocket you already hold the key, the willingness to take absolute responsibility for your life, the willingness to risk, the willingness to release yourself from judgment and reclaim your innocence, accepting and loving yourself for who you really are, human, imperfect, and whole. I don't know about you, but I find so much power in those words. But yeah, let's move to the next book. If you want to understand why people do what they do, you need to look at everything, from their brain chemistry to their culture and even their evolutionary history. That's what this book taught me, and I realized that our behaviors are so much more complicated than we think. Sometimes we are like, well, can this person just not do it or do it a different way? And probably, yeah, they can't because our behavior is really complicated. So, Behave by Robert Sapolsky. This book really dives deep into why humans behave the way we do, and it's not just the obvious reasons that we know, but a lot of other reasons we would never think about. Robert Sapolsky takes you on a journey through biology, psychology, environment, and history to explain human behavior from different angles. It's very detailed and very scientific, but it's also written in a way that pulls you in. So if you're curious why people behave the way we do, including yourself, or if you want to know human nature better, this is the right book for you. Nothing is original. Steal from anywhere that resonates with inspiration or fuels your imagination. This idea totally changed the way I think about creativity. So, Steal Like an Artist, a short book that feels like a pep talk for creatives. Actually, I do not have a physical book again. I read it on my iPhone. I wonder whether I should buy a Kindle because I'm not sure if I want to read more on Kindle or buy more physical books. I actually prefer physical books, to be honest. But coming back to Steal Like an Artist, it's not about copying others. It's about getting inspired and using other ideas to find your own unique voice. So I'm not going to talk too much about this book, but if you are a creative person but you feel like you're not original enough, you have some creative blocks, you are overwhelmed by perfectionism, then this book is like a creative's best friend. It's really short and I really loved it, and I recommend it to everyone. I mean, you can apply the knowledge from this book in probably any area. Whatever you do, you can apply this book to it. The world is often a better place than we think if only we look at the facts. The last book for today is Factfulness. I actually have it in Croatian. I've got it here in Croatia to practice my Croatian and to read the book because I wanted to read it for a long time. But yeah, this one closes our list today. Last but not least, let's say, it's a very, very good book. Hans Rosling uses data and clear explanation to show how things like health, education, and poverty actually improved over time. It's a really an eye-opening reminder to stay curious and to question our assumptions. You know, nowadays it's really easy to get overwhelmed by all of the bad news, these headlines, everything that is happening in the world, and it feels like the world is getting worse and worse every year, which is actually not true. At least that's what this book teaches us if you look at the data. The world is getting better and it's a better place than we think. This is what this book tells us, and I think this is a very good book for everybody who really gets overwhelmed by all of this bad news and who is maybe scared to live in this world. And also, if you want to think more critically about global issues, I highly recommend you read Factfulness. I really enjoyed this book and I think it made me more optimistic anyway and more informed, but by nature, I don't know, I've always been an optimistic person and I also like to think critically, at least I hope so. But yeah, I think this is all for today. I hope this list gives you a fresh perspective on yourself, on others, and on the world we live in. Each of these books helped me in different ways, and honestly, reading nonfiction like this is like having a conversation with some of the smartest, bravest and kindest people in the world, and it helps you grow without leaving your house. Now I'd like to hear from you. Which of these books have you read and liked, or maybe you want to read some of these books now, or maybe you have recommendations of similar books. I'd really love them. Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I will see you in the next video. Again, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget that sometimes the biggest mountain we climb is within ourselves. See you in the next one. Bye bye.